Hello everyone! Welcome to my video. My name is Stella. How are you? In today's video, we are going to make a super cute and easy crochet off-shoulder top that I saw on my Pinterest. And I immediately fell in love with it. So I had to try and make one. And I'm going to show you how to make one too. So let's start. Come with me. We are going to need scissors, measuring tape, tapestry needle, a crochet hook, and yarn. And let me show you what kind of yarn and what size of crochet hook I'm going to be using. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook with a number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. And Firmoo sunglasses, and they are not optional. So before we start, let me show you how cute this off-the-shoulder top is. So I have one that is ready, so you have an idea before you start crocheting your own. So look at how perfect this off-the-shoulder top is for a date night or for Valentine's Day, right? The red color is amazing, but you can also make them in any color you want. It's gonna look great too. And to complement the look, I'm going to wear the cutest sunglasses ever. They are from Firmoo. Firmoo sunglasses are very stylish and affordable. And on top of the good prices that they already offer, you can use my code to save even more. Please check the code in the description. They also offer a huge variety of prescription glasses. Thank you, Firmoo, for sponsoring this video. And now let's start with the tutorial for this amazing top. I'm going to give you instructions based on measurements, so you can make a top on any size. But if you want to make a top in the same size as mine, here's my gauge. So my 4 by 4 inches square has 13 single crochet stitches by 15 rows. And I am a size small. I weigh 55 kilograms. My height is 1.55 meters and my bra size is 32A. So we are going to start by making this part here, which is the tube top, right? So I have one here that I already started just to show you, so you have a better idea before you start your project. So it's gonna be this part here. And the first thing we need is this measurement here. So here we are getting the measurement for the length of the tube top portion of the off-shoulder top. So you're gonna get the measurement from your armpit down to where you want your top to lay. So in my case, I want my off-shoulder top to measure 13 inches long. Alright, so here I have one panel of my tube top to show you how it is made. So here is the bottom, right? So it's gonna lay on your hips or on your waist, depends on how long you want your off-the-shoulder top. So here is straight. Here are the sides with the measurement we took from the armpit to the bottom. So it's the length of your top. And then here is the top part. Right? So it's gonna go on your chest. So we have this part here that increases. So it starts lower than here, right? So we do the half double crochet increases here. And then we have this part which is straight. So there are no increases here. And then we have this part that goes down. So we make decreases here. So the panels are divided into 3 parts. One that increases, one that is straight, and the other one that decreases. If you look at it in this way, it's much easier to work and to know where to make increases or decreases. So we make 2 of these, one for the front of your body, right? And one for your back. And then we connect them on each side here with slip stitches. And then how do we know how wide we need to make our top? Okay, so you can get this measurement here from here to here, from the armpit to the armpit here. And then mine is approximately 15 inches. And then how do I know the size of this part, the size of this part, and the size of this part? So a number that is multiple of 3 is perfect, right? Because then we can divide that number in 3. So for example, in my case, it was 15 inches. So each part has 5 inches. So I know when to stop increasing and when to start decreasing, right? But if your measurement is not a multiple of 3, you can approximate because yarn is stretchy, right? So if you add a few rows or take off a few rows, it's not gonna be such a big deal. So yeah, divide that number that you get by 3 and then you know the number of rows you have to make for each section. But there's something important here. Each section has to measure the same, right? And then we make a slip knot. And we make a foundation chain with that measurement we just got. So my foundation chain is going to measure approximately 13 inches. So we make many chains until we get to that measurement. So just for your reference, my foundation chain is going to have 46 chains. Alright, so now in the second chain from the hook, so in this one here, we are going to make a half double crochet. So now we continue making half double crochet stitches all along the foundation chain until the first chain here. So it's all half double crochet stitches. So I'm reaching the end of my row number 1 and I have 2 more half double crochet stitches to finish this row. So 1, 2. And I made a total of 45 half double crochet stitches here along the foundation chain because one of the chains we skip so we can make the turn, right? So I made 46 chains, but I have 45 half double crochet stitches. This will change for every person. It depends on the measurement there that you took. That is the length of your sweater. So we are working on the tube top now. Now we chain 1 and we turn our work. And we are going to start row 2. And for this row, we work half single crochet stitches on the back loop only. And we make 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet from the previous row. And on this row, we have to make an increase. So we make an increase over on this end only. Over here. We don't make any increases on this end. We are just going to make one increase here. So I'm gonna show you how. So basically the increase is to work 2 half double crochet stitches in the same half double crochet from the previous row. So let's get to here and I'll show you. Alright, so look at this. I'm at the end of row 2 and I have 2 half double crochet stitches to finish the row. So let's make this one here normally on the back loop here. And then on the last one, we are going to make 2 half double crochet stitches together. So it's an increase. So 1 and 2, they're in the same spot, in the same half double crochet from the previous row. Look at that. Is that clear? So we do it only here, the increase is only here and not here, because this is the bottom part and we want to have it straight, right? Like I explained for you in the beginning. And here is where we want to increase, go straight, and then decrease, right? Yeah. So now we chain 1 and turn our work to start row 3. And row 3, it's normal, it's a normal row. We don't do any increases. So we are going to do increases only for the even numbered rows. So for row 2, row 4, row 6, and so on, okay? So no increases there. Just 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet from the previous row. So here's the end of my row number 3. And I have 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet from the previous row. Now I chain 1, I turn my work, and this is row 4. And in row 4, we make an increase, but we don't make an increase on this end here, just on the other end. Okay, so let's work on this row. So here I am at the end of my row 4, and I want to work 1 more increase with you to make sure it's clear. So I have 2 more half double crochet stitches to finish this row. So I'm gonna make 1 here, which is not an increase, so it's just 1 half double crochet on top of the previous half double crochet, right? From the previous row. And then the increase on the last half double crochet from the previous row. So I make 2 half double crochet stitches in the same spot. And remember, these are half double crochet in the back loop only. So this is the end of my row 4. So I chain 1, turn around to start row 5. And row 5 is an odd row. We don't do any increases. So it's just 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet from the previous row. So this sometimes can be a little bit confusing. We don't do another increase here when we turn the work. So don't make another increase here, because we don't want a steep slope here, right? We are making the increases, so we have a slope here. It's starting to grow, but we don't want this growth to be very fast, right? So we make an increase on the even rows. So we have a smooth growth here. And we are going to do that until we reach the flat part here, which I showed you how to determine that in the beginning of the video with the measurement of our chest, right? Yeah, so for me, for this increasing part here, I make 12 rows, and 6 of them are increasing rows in between the other rows that are not increasing rows. Is that clear? So this is going to change for everyone, unless you are making a top that is exactly the same size as mine. Okay? Yeah, so let's start row 5. So I'm going to work now until I get to the section that I make only rows that have no increases, so it's a straight line here on the top. So let's do that, and I'll meet you back when we are on that part. This is the end of my increasing rows. Now I'm going to start working on the rows that are not increasing. So I'm going to make 12 rows of half double crochet stitches in each half double crochet stitch from the previous row. And in my case it's 12, but for you it might be different. You might be making more or less rows. Okay, so now it's gonna go straight here and straight here. So I'm done with the straight part of my tube top. And now I'm going to start row number 25. And this is going to be a decreasing row. So I chain one, I turn my work, and I work a decreasing half double crochet stitch in the back loop only here. So I combine 2 half double crochet stitches from the previous row into 1 stitch here, and then I continue making half double crochet stitches until I reach the other side here. And this side is the straight side. We don't do any decreases. So the decreasing rows are going to be the odd rows now. So this one for me is number 25, and it's a decreasing row. Number 26 is not a decreasing row, so I work 1 half double crochet stitch in the back loop only in each half double crochet stitch from the previous row. Alright, so I'll work on those 2 rows, and then I want to come back here on row 27, right? Yeah, on row 27, because I want to show you one more time how to do the decrease. So I'm back, I'm finishing my row number 26. I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and start row number 27. And this one is a decreasing row. So I'm going to do the decrease. So yarn over, grab the 2 back loops of the half double crochet from the previous row. This is the top side here of the stitches. You have 2 loops there. You grab the back one from 1 stitch, and then you go around and grab 1 more from a second stitch, right? Yarn over, and then you pull that yarn through both loops from the stitches there. Yarn over and pass the yarn through the 3 loops on your hook to make the half double crochet. Is that clear? That's how I make a decreasing half double crochet on the back loop only. So now we continue working our half double crochet stitches, and I'll meet you here when I'm at the end of my tube top. So don't forget to make the decreasing rows in between the rows that are not decreasing. And in my case, I have to make 12 rows in total, counting the decreasing rows and the non-decreasing rows in between. So I'm done with my panels. So I have 2 here, look at them, looking good. Now we are going to join them on the sides with slip stitch. So now you cut the yarn and you leave a very long tail so you can slip stitch on the sides. So now you align one panel on top of the other. I just left them like this so I can show you the yarn tails. And you leave one yarn tail in each side. So let's start the slip stitches to join the 2 panels. That's exciting. It's taking form. So just slip stitches here. Just make sure the panels are aligned, right? So they align here and here. So I'm going to go ahead and make the slip stitches for both sides, and then we have the tube top ready. We can even try it on at this point before we attach the sleeves, right? Just to see if everything fits okay. So just slip stitches here to close, look, and then on the other side. one side is ready. Now let's move on to the other side. So the tube top is closed. So now that we are done with the tube top, we have to make the sleeves. And for the sleeves, we have to make two rectangles, similar to this one. So let me show you how to make them. For that, we also need some measurements. First measurement is from here to here. So it's the length of your arms, right? But not all the way to the shoulders. So we are getting the measurement from the highest peak of your tube top here down to your wrist. So the length of my sleeve is approximately 22 inches. Now the second measurement we need is the circumference of the thickest part of your arm, right? So it's this measurement right here. So here is the length of your arm, and here is the circumference of your arm. So let me try to show you. This is gonna wrap around your arm, like this. And the second measurement is going to tell you the number of rows you have to make for your sleeve. In my case, my circumference is around 10 inches, so I'm going to make a number of rows here that gets to 10 inches. So I made 22 rows. So we make a slip knot, and then we make a foundation chain measuring the length we just took. In my case, I have to make a foundation chain with 71 chains. And the sleeves are very easy to make because you just make a rectangle. There's no increasing and no decreasing. Just make sure you keep track of the number of chains you have and the number of rows, because you have to make two of the same, right? So we're gonna make a very long foundation chain here. Yours might be longer or shorter than mine. So I'm just telling you the number of chains I'm making just for your reference and just so you have an idea of the size of my top, or if you are making the same size as mine. So here I'm done with my foundation chain, and now in the second chain from the hook we make a half double crochet. And we continue making half double crochet stitches all along the foundation chain. So in my case, I'm going to make 70 half double crochet stitches. So here is the same thing as the tube top. We are going to work half double crochet stitches in the back loop only for all rows. And as I said before, for the sleeves, we don't do any increases or decreases. It's just a rectangle. So it's gonna be rows and rows of half double crochet stitches in the back loop only. Alright, so I'm almost done with row 1. I have one last half double crochet to make. And then I chain 1, I turn my work. And then I'm going to work the half double crochet stitches here in the back loop only. Alright, so here's the end of my row 2. So I chain 1, I turn my work, and I'm starting my row 3. And then I'll keep doing that until I have a number of rows that matches the circumference of my arm. So in my case, I have to make 22 rows, and I already made 2, right? So I have 20 more to go. I'm working on my 3rd row right now. So here I am finishing the last row of one of my sleeves. Now we are going to attach the sleeve. So we have to close the sleeve here with slip stitches in the same way as we did with the tube top, but we have to leave an opening because we're gonna have to attach the sleeves to the tube top. So we leave an opening that measures approximately the same size as the increasing slope here for this side. The top is going to be like this with the sleeves, right? Look at that. So we close the sleeve opening here, but we leave a part opened for both sleeves. So I'm closing my sleeve here, and I'm going to leave an opening that matches my increasing slope and my decreasing slope. So I have a few more slip stitches here to finish this. So I'll make 4 more slip stitches. And then I'm done with the other sleeve already. And then we are ready to attach the sleeves to the top. So here, look, we leave an opening here and the rest is closed with slip stitches. So make sure the 2 openings measure the same size, so you can count the number of slip stitches you made in one sleeve and then make the same number in the other sleeve. So here I have one sleeve attached already just to show you, and we are going to do the second one together. So to attach the sleeve on the top, what I like to do is to have a very long yarn tail and sew it with a tapestry needle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start sewing from the top here, from here, and then I go all the way around with only one yarn tail. So you can use whip stitch here or a crisscross type of stitch. It's up to you. It's not gonna be very visible because that rectangle band is going to cover it. So look at that. The work is kind of neat actually, so it looks really good. So we continue and we sew it all around. Goes down to the armpit here. It goes from here to the armpit and then around on the back side, right? So you sew one part and then you come around the armpit and you sew the other part to the back. Remember that it has to be an opening here, right? Because it's where you're gonna put your arms. Let me try to show you from here. So you're gonna sew the front and the back. Look. That's the front. I was just sewing right now, and then now I'm going to start sewing the back, and then there is an opening there. Okay, second sleeve is done. Alright, so now we have to work on the rectangle that goes around the shoulders and the body here on the top, right? Yeah, so let's do that. Alright, so for the circumference of that rectangle, I suggest you to make a number of rows that are approximately the same as the rows of your sweater here. So you count from here all around the sleeve and then the back and then around the other sleeve. Mine is approximately 72 rows. So I always like to have one ready before we start, before I show you how to make them, so you have an idea on what you have to do. So by 72 rows, I mean these rows here, right? So it's all around. Mine has approximately 72. And also we need this length here. And this is up to you. Mine has approximately, look at that, 5.5 inches. So the rectangle we are making goes over there. Look at that. It goes over the shoulders, so it's actually the off-shoulder portion of your top. And You also can measure it around your body as you make it, because we don't want to have something really tight that you cannot even move your arms up when you are wearing your sweater, right? Alright, so when you decide on this measurement here, you are going to make a slip knot and a foundation chain with a number of chains that matches your measurement that you took here. So one of these chains is used for the turn, so it doesn't count as a half double crochet stitch. And in the same way as the other parts of your top, we have to match the direction of your ribbed effect here, right? So the ribbing for the tube top part and for the sleeves and for this band here is all in the vertical direction. Now we make a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then 1 half double crochet in each chain here from the foundation chain. So we are working the rows like this in this direction. So they are short rows, right? They are not long rows like this. So it's gonna be a very long rectangle. Mine is already closed here, and I closed my rectangle with slip stitches there. So you make many rows until you reach the circumference that you want, and then you join the two tips of your rectangle with slip stitches to form a circle. Alright, with that being said, let me just finish one row with you and then show you how to continue. It's like the same as the other parts of your top that you already made. So I'm here on my last half double crochet stitch. I'm gonna chain 1, turn my work, and it's half double crochet stitches in the back loop only, as we did in the other parts. So 1 half double crochet stitch in the back loop only for each half double crochet from the previous row. So here we are making the slip stitches to close that rectangle. Just make sure the two ends align here. All done. Look, now we have the circle here, the ring. Now let's attach the band around it. And the way I like to do that is to use slip stitches. You can also sew it with a tapestry needle, but that's very tedious because you're gonna have to pass a very long yarn tail around the top so many times, and that's gonna take so long, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's easier to just do slip stitches. So the first thing you have to do is to put the sweater inside the band. Like so. I hope you can see it. Something like this. So the tube top and the sleeves all go inside the band there. Look at that. And then we have to attach this end of the band to the sleeves and the tube top from here. So when you put your sweater inside the band, you make sure the yarn tail is on the upper part of the band here, right? So you can attach it to the sweater. You know what I mean? So this yarn tail cannot be down here. It has to be up here. So it's like this. I hope you can see it. And then the sweater is here, the band is here. We are going to start the slip stitches right here. And here what can happen is that your band is smaller than the circumference of the sweater, and you have to do some decreases here. So you can grab 2 stitches that corresponds to 2 rows of your sweater, and just only one from the band, and you kind of decrease the circumference of the top. You have to adjust and see as you go. Look, you adjust the 2 circumferences together so they kind of match, right? So for example, I don't know if you can see, maybe the sweater, see, it's bigger than my band. So I have to kind of decrease the circumference of the sweater a little bit. So what can happen here is that the circumference of your sweater is slightly bigger than the circumference of the band, and in this case you can do some decreases on the opening, on the circumference of the sweater, right? So you grab 2 stitches here that corresponds to 2 rows, and you combine them like this, and then you just grab 1 row of the band. And in this case, you are decreasing the circumference of your sweater a little bit. Does that make sense? So we continue doing that all the way around. Don't forget to leave an opening here. Don't do the 4 sides together, right? You need an opening there. And if from time to time you stop slip stitching and check if the 2 openings are aligning okay, right? So you adjust and you do some of the decreases I said. I hope that makes sense. It's not complicated. It's easy when you start working on it. You're gonna see what I mean. You see here? You see how my sweater opening is kind of fluffy here. So it's bigger than the opening of my band. So what I do a decreasing slip stitch, let's say. So I grab 1 loop from the sweater opening, another loop of the sweater opening, look at that, and then only 1 loop of the band opening over there in the back, and then I close my slip stitch. Do you see? A normal slip stitch is just like this, 1 and 1, and then close the slip stitch. But to do the decreasing, you grab 2, like this, and then you go to the back there. Okay, I'm excited to see this done and finished so we can wear it. So let's keep closing this. All right, it's done. Look at that, it's so cute. So now it's time to wear it, to try it on and to style it. So exciting, let's do it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope the tutorial was useful and the instructions were easy to follow. And I also hope to see you in my next videos. So subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you later.